I moved into the apartment on a Sunday afternoon. Top floor, old building, cracked walls, a smell of dust and metal. The kind of place that looks quiet until the silence starts to sound wrong. The landlord, a thin man with trembling hands, gave me the keys and said, "You'll want to keep the bathroom door closed at night." I laughed, thought he was just superstitious. The rent was cheap, the view was decent. I didn't ask questions. The bathroom was small, white tiles stained with time. There was one thing that stood out, a tall, oval mirror fixed above the sink. Old, maybe antique. The frame was black and silver, and the glass had this faint shimmer, like water that never stops moving. When I first looked into it, the light flickered slightly, as if the bulb had blinked, but it didn't. Just my imagination. That's what I told myself. That night, I stood brushing my teeth, half asleep, half bored. Then, I saw it. My reflection's lips moved before mine did. It smiled, a small twitch, while my own face stayed still. I froze, toothbrush halfway to my mouth. The reflection went back to normal, perfectly in sync again. I tried to laugh it off, but the sound came out shaky. I turned off the light and went to bed. That night, I dreamed of standing in front of the mirror again. But this time, the reflection's eyes were open while mine were closed. Over the next few days, small things started happening. Lights flickering, my reflection seeming a second slower than me. A faint dripping sound in the bathroom, even when the tap was dry. One morning, when I wiped steam from the glass after a shower, there were fingerprints on the inside of the mirror. I stepped back. The marks disappeared. I told myself, maybe I touched it last night. Maybe I didn't remember. But then I noticed something else. The fingerprints were longer than mine. Thursday night, 2:14 a.m. I woke up thirsty and went to the bathroom. Didn't bother turning the light on. The city's glow was enough. I leaned over the sink, drinking water from my hands, and as I lifted my head, I saw my reflection blink. I hadn't blinked, not yet. It blinked twice, slow, deliberate, almost testing me. I stumbled back, hit the wall. The reflection just stood there, staring, calm. When I turned on the light, it was back to normal. But my heart didn't stop racing for an hour. I started covering the mirror with a towel every night before bed, but the towel kept falling off. Or maybe it was taken off. One morning, there was writing on the fogged glass. 3 words, "Let me through." The letters dripped slowly, as if written from the other side. I left for work early that day. All I could think about was the reflection, the timing, the smile, the blink. When I came home, the message was gone, but the mirror looked cleaner, as if someone had wiped it from inside. That night, as I brushed my teeth, the silence broke. A soft whisper, barely audible over the running water. "You shouldn't have covered me." I froze. Foam dripped from the toothbrush. I looked up. My reflection was smiling again, but its mouth wasn't moving with mine. It spoke while I stood frozen. "It's lonely in here." Then the light flickered, once, twice, and went out. I ran, slammed the bathroom door, locked it. From the other side, I could still hear water running, except I hadn't turned it on. The next morning, I went to see the landlord, but the old man wasn't there. Instead, a woman from the next apartment opened the door. When I asked about the mirror, she looked pale. "You have the silver one," she said. I nodded. It belonged to the man who lived there before you. He talked to it every night. What happened to him? I asked. She hesitated. He stopped coming out of the bathroom. Then she closed the door. That evening, I decided I'd had enough. I grabbed a hammer from the drawer. I was going to break it. But when I entered the bathroom, the mirror wasn't there. It had fallen, moved, onto the opposite wall, perfectly straight, no cracks, no dust. And in the reflection, the bathroom behind me looked slightly different, as if the tiles were cleaner, the light colder, and something was standing in the corner. I turned around. Nothing. But when I looked back at the reflection, the corner was empty again. Except now, I wasn't in it. I don't remember falling asleep. I just remember waking up. Inside the reflection, everything was mirrored, backwards, colorless. The air felt thick, heavy. The light buzzed like static. I ran to the glass, pounded on it. But the other side, my room, was empty. I could see myself, still lying in bed, breathing, like my body was alive, but without me. Something stepped out from the shadow behind my body. It looked like me, but it smiled wider. I screamed. The sound echoed like it came from underwater. Then it leaned close to the glass, whispered, "Your turn," and everything went black. When I woke up, I was back in bed, sweating, gasping. The towel was back over the mirror. Dream, I told myself. Yes, had to be. Until I saw the hammer. It was still in my hand. But the mirror had a crack now, running straight down the middle. And from inside the crack, something was moving. Days passed. I started seeing double. When I looked into any reflection, windows, my phone screen, even puddles, I caught glimpses of him, the other me, the one who smiled first. At night, I heard knocks from inside the bathroom wall, 3 times, always 3. Once, I knocked back. It knocked again. Then, faintly, a whisper, "Switch." Friday, I came home from work and found the bathroom door open, light flickering, the mirror gone. Only dust on the wall where it used to hang. Then I heard the sound from the hallway, glass dragging across the floor. It was leaning against my bedroom wall now, facing the bed. And in the reflection, I wasn't alone. A hand pressed against the inside of the glass, fingers long, pale, twitching. I backed away. The hand mirrored mine, then stayed still. Then, without me moving, it tapped 3 times. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the reflection blink, even when I wasn't looking at it. At 3:03 a.m., I sat up and stared at the mirror. "What do you want?" I whispered. No answer, just a slow blink. Then faintly, like a voice from underwater, "You blinked first." I set up my phone to record the mirror while I slept. When I checked the video the next morning, my reflection got up 3 minutes before I did. It stood there, staring at the camera, smiling. Then it turned off the phone. Except, I never got up. The footage ended with my reflection walking out of frame. And when I looked at myself in the mirror, my reflection wasn't there. I went to the landlord again. This time, I found him. He looked at me like he'd seen a ghost. "You're still here?" he said. I nodded, confused. "The man who rented before you," he said quietly. He came to me saying the same thing, said the mirror was wrong. One morning, I found the apartment empty, but the mirror showed him, standing right where you are now. He handed me a folded piece of paper. It was a receipt, dated 3 years ago. Silver framed mirror. The lament, auction item 6B. Under previous owner, it said, unknown. I smashed it, every piece, swept the shards into a box, threw them in the dumpster behind the building, felt free. For the first time in weeks, I slept peacefully. The next morning, the mirror was back on the wall. Perfect, uncracked, waiting. I didn't scream, didn't move, just stared. Because this time, my reflection blinked twice, and I didn't blink at all.